What we got going on? Hey, Sal. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Miss Martha. Greetings, 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 everyone. How's everyone doing? Um, I've got it on very good authority, you all. I've got it on very good authority that I will be getting a new green screen. A new green screen. Yeah, yeah, Miss Martha. That intro is something I make. It does, it does. It makes you wanna dance and shit like that. Yes. Yes, 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 I love the intro too. I love the intro too. Um, I'm gonna give a minute before we get into everything. Um, you guys, um, let me say this. These last few days have not been the easiest. Um, right off the bat, I'm fine. I'm okay. Here, you gotta be over here. Um, a little, not too worse for wear, but stuff has been going down, and I want to. So um I am, I'm trying to be more consistent, but somebody that I care about very deeply is not doing very well right now, and the thing is that they need medication, and they've not been able to get the medication that they need. And what happens is that they're going through something right now. And so, in between me trying to do everything, I'm trying to make sure that, that this individual is okay. And, they're mentally, they're mentally and emotionally just being deregulated right now. And the people that were supposed to help them, they're just dragging their feet. And so I'm doing the best I can, and then I'm trying to show up for all of this. So with all that being said, everybody, welcome. Everybody, please hit the video. Hold on, wait a minute, I got some things over here. Oh, wait a minute. I just opened up that screen so big like that. Media assets. Here we go. What is this? Yep. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Please hit the like. Please hit the like. Come on now. Please hit the like. Okay. Um, greetings, Wade. Oh, Miss Yvette made it. Yes. Yep. Oh, Yvette, I'm so glad you're not in prison. I'm glad you're not in jail, baby. Hey, Yvette. Okay. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can get the comments. I want the comments on. Okay, there we go. All right, we're good. We're good. Okay. Um, hey Kiki. Hey Kiki. Greetings, love. Gracious greetings, baby. It's been a minute. I'm glad you're here, love. I'm glad you're here. So let's talk about it, babies. Let's talk about what's going down. And Miss Autumn, greetings, my love. Greetings, greetings, greetings. I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and then I'll drop the link if anybody wants to participate. All right. So with all that being said, by now we've all seen it. By now we've all seen it. A woman was killed in Minneapolis by an ICE agent. And this isn't a headline. I'm not talking about a story. I'm talking about a woman. She was a mother. She was a creative, and she was part of a community. And she woke up yesterday dropping her baby off to school, and then coming home from dropping the baby off, she expected, to live a life. And instead, she is now She became a symbol. And I I just did not want this to go by and have her humanity being skipped. Um, I do not want her life to be reduced to being a statistic. And her name was Renee. Her name was Renee. And we got to remember her name because when you skip the human, it's easier for people in power to explain her death away like it's nothing. And tonight, I was not going to do that. Tonight, I didn't want that to go by. So this didn't happen in isolation. It didn't happen because of one bad moment. This happened inside of a climate that has been deliberately built. This happened in a climate where force is normalized, where fear is now being framed as protection, where certain lives are treated as expendable. And that climate has it has architects. Yeah. That climate has architects. I want to play a little something for you right now. All right?
One of Donald Trump's possible running mate contenders made this, some people would say, bizarre admission that has a lot of people angry.
Okay, here is the backstory. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem released a new book. The Guardian got its hands on a copy, and the outlet is flagging a section in which she describes killing her dog named Cricket. I hated that dog, Noem writes, adding that Cricket had proved herself, quote, untrainable, dangerous to anyone she came in contact with, and less than worthless as a hunting dog.
So at that moment, Noem says, I realized I had to put her down. Noem, who also represented her state in Congress for 8 years, got her gun, then led Cricket to a gravel pit. It was not a pleasant job, she writes, but it had to be done. And after it was over, I realized another unpleasant job needed to be done.
Her family, she writes, also owned a male goat that was nasty and mean because it had not been castrated.
Naturally.
Furthermore, as one knows, the goat smelled disgusting, musky, rancid, and loved to chase Noem's children, knocking them down and ruining their clothes.
Noem decided to kill the unnamed goat the same way she had just killed Cricket the dog.
Noem has now defended the scenes in the statements that she made in her own book, saying she loves animals, but tough decisions happen all the time on a farm. In fact, she says they recently put down 3 horses.
Shit happens on farms all the time. I understand that. But what was the symbolism of you putting that in a book? See, for me, that wasn't a mistake. That was her showing how comfortable she was with power like that. Let me show you one more thing. Let me show you something else, y'all.
If you remember in that operation, what happened was our officers were out trying to get a car stuck out of the snow when they were surrounded and assaulted and blocked in by protesters that were inciting.
The officer was following his training.
He did follow his training because of an individual that was
point blank into a driver's window. Is that part of the training? How is that self-defense?
This is an experienced officer who followed his training, and we will continue to let the investigation unfold into the individual and continue to follow the procedures and policies that happen in these use of force cases. But let's remember the events that surrounded what happened yesterday on that tragic situation was that these individuals had followed our officers all day, had harassed them, had blocked them in. They were impeding our law enforcement operations, which is against the law. And when they demanded and commanded her to get out of her vehicle several times, she did not. So we'll continue to allow this process to unfold and recognize that these law enforcement officers every single day put their lives on the line. They go out and do their jobs. They go out and
Terrorist, though, without an
This was an act of domestic terrorism,
there
which
has
is
been no
perpetuating
investigation into who she was or what she was about, and yet now you're saying
these
you can't
policies
speak
and
about the
procedures
incident
that
because of
follow
it.
a use of force situation like this are continuing to be put in place. So this is standard operating procedure after every use of force situation, is that we follow these procedures and protocols. This situation is no different.
Standard operating procedure. A experienced officer that's I'm just going to be honest with y'all. It gags me that's how the mindset shows up in federal power. There was no pause, there was no grief, just justification. Now, if you all haven't by now, I'm going to show you all a clip. And this is not going to be easy. So just you all got an opportunity to to not turn, to turn away. But this is the actual footage of what went down in Minneapolis yesterday. I want to be really clear. That was not easy to watch, and I didn't show that for shock value. I showed it because the narrative collapses when reality enters the room. That wasn't for chaos, but that was for context. This is why people are asking questions. Once again, before she even knew what was going down, she protected this agent. And this is how the reality is being handled. That's what happened when the reality surfaced. This didn't start in Minneapolis, though. This did not start in Minneapolis. Before I go any further, this is Renee. Her husband had died a year beforehand, and she was caring for her son. And now that baby is an orphan. This is who they were claiming was a national terrorist. Kristi Noem defended this before she even paused, before she could even grieve, before she even acknowledged Renee's life. She moved to justify this shit immediately, and that tells you everything. But she had backups. She had backups. This right here. This is Stephen Miller. He's the blueprint. Years of policy designed to make people hate each other, to separate families, to criminalize survival, and make cruelty casual. He was the architect of family separation, of all the border chaos that happened in his first administration, the refugee bans, the language that dehumanizes people. This is not about safety. This was about control. This was his handiwork the last time he was in the office. When control is the goal, violence is always going to find its way to justify itself. This is the pattern. Escalation first, force first, narrative control first, humanity last. When leaders repeatedly choose enforcement over empathy, punishment over prevention, domination over discernment, people are going to die. Literally. And then we're told on. We're told to move it on, to move on. I don't want to move on. I don't want to move on. And I keep asking myself, how did we get here? We didn't just wake up and here we were. This didn't just appear out of nowhere. This was slowly built. It was quietly. And you know who built it? All of us, whether we knew it or not. Phones, notification, death scrolling. We can barely hold on our own attention anymore, let alone somebody else's life. And when attention is scattered, empathy fades. And when empathy fades, violence slips in like it's nothing. The internet let us talk without consequences. People say things online that they would never say to somebody's face. They laugh at cruelty, they laugh at other people's pain, and they argue without a care in the world, because that distance strips consciousness. Cruelty becomes real casual, and then suddenly a human life is just a story on a screen. It's the dehumanization of everything. Words shift everything. I'm always telling you, watch your words. You're casting spells. Words shift everything spiritually, psychologically. When people are called threats, when people are called illegal aliens, invaders, criminals, national terrorists, fear becomes normal. Force becomes okay. And death becomes very explainable. This rewires the nervous system of the entire nation. Leaders without consequences, people at the top, no pause, no accountability. Messages trickle down. And the message is human life isn't sacred. That damage is acceptable. The ends justify the means. And spiritually, that will fracture a nation's spine. We are always in fight or flight mode. We always have a constant threat. There's always a constant outrage. And when the body's in a state, in that type of state, judgment shuts down. Overreaction feels reasonable. Violence feels justified. And when there's a tragedy, we just explain it away. We mourn later, if we even notice. And the sad part is, the inconvenient truth is that we participate, not equally, but we feed the system, the attention to cruelty, the scroll past the dehumanization, reducing lives to headline or sound bites. We're not the ones pulling the trigger, but we keep the cycle alive. This right here is a collective reckoning. Not just the leaders, not just policy, but our consciousness. If we can't pause, if we can't grieve, if we can't hold life sacred, this repeats. It's not just evil. It's just that we're asleep. And let me say this, and I got to go into this, and let's be clear, for decades, Black and brown people have died at the hands of police. Too many lives have been lost. Too many names have been erased. And this has become normalized. Do y'all remember him? Trayvon Martin? Why was his life erased? He went to the store to get some Skittles, and he was in a hoodie. He had the audacity to wear a hoodie. Breonna Taylor? Breonna Taylor was in her own home. She was in her home. And she was shot because the police force mistook her home for a drug house. Remember that? Pleading, I can't breathe, while handcuffed, with 3 other police officers there. Here's how this is different, though. Renee was white, and that changed the conversation. Not because her life mattered more, it doesn't. All lives matter. But because society reacts differently when someone who looks like her dies. People are shocked. The outrage is louder. And the story spreads faster. The system feels pressure it's very rarely felt before. And this is how the needle moves. Not because the system suddenly cares, but because the collective attention and empathy are racialized. This moment exposes a truth. The moral urgency to protect human life is inconsistent. And spiritually, that's heavy. Psychologically, that is fucking corrosive. And what we do with this moment matters. Do we see it as an exception, or do we use it to wake up the collective consciousness? Because if we don't, this cycle is going to continue. The next tragedy will still fall on the hardest, on those that the systems have always failed. Emotionally, this cuts deep. Communities already living under surveillance, they're under surveillance, and it just reinforces the fear. Trauma gets triggered, grief surfaces, anger rises, and fear spreads. Spiritually, this is a fracture of trust. Trust in leaderships, trust in the system, trust in each other. Society is numb to death. That's a dangerous energy. At this point, I'm going to drop the link, and I'm going to open up the floor for discussion. If anybody wants to come on. Okay. Come on, Michael. What you got, baby?
Hey, I just want to really say I'm listening to you and it's really, really powerful. I've always been scared of ICE, and I told you about that time they came in my city, and everything. But I agree what you said about Mrs. Nome, is that this is just heartless. It's heartless and it's inhumane. And it's just like I kind of wonder in my mind. I kind of wonder, bless you. I kind of wonder in my mind, is are we able to accomplish peace on earth, And as I think about it, it's just like there are people who don't want peace on earth because they will always benefit from other isms, and it's just that they benefit from conflict, chaos, and such. So it does disturb me that that we live in such a society like that. When you hear Mrs. Nome justifying, instead of saying, this was a tragedy. And I think that it just proves to what you may have alluded to in the past, that we have some psychopaths running this country. So
Oh,
that's what I wanted to say, and and it scares the hell out of me, especially being black, it's now to the point that if you say something bad, this is rumors, and I'm hoping that I don't give them people any inspiration. But if you say something negative about the so-called president, you're going to be under investigation.
Michael, I'm going to say this, Michael. I'm going to say this. When we can't get past skin color,
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to, and I think it's very, I personally, I think the bar is too high when we want to say peace on earth. How about just basic intelligence? I would go for intelligence first.
Yes.
I would go in for intelligence first. Because like, hold on for a second. Hold on. Because like this
Okay.
right here. Okay. Polly G, I dropped the link, baby. I'm going to drop the link again. I'm going to drop this link one more time. And I'm inviting you to the floor because it seems like you got a lot to say.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it seems like you got a lot to say. So please, by all means, tap on that link, Polly. Tap on that link. I'm gonna keep that there, and I'm gonna keep that link there. Michael, I'm gonna get you down, okay? Because I got
Okay,
Sarah.
take care.
Thank you, love.
All
Thank
right.
you for always
Bye.
joining, baby. I love you. All right, baby. Give me a second. Lady Sarah.
Hello.
Hi, baby. How you doing?
I've been better, but that's just the way it goes.
Go on. Go on.
I really hate what's going on now because I can very easily see, you know, something like this happen to someone I love. It anyone who dies, it could easily be, you know, it was somebody's child, it was somebody's husband or wife, but something I do want to say, and I'm not trying to minimize
No.
what's happened to people of color at all,
Yeah.
but what I want to say is to anyone watching, do not let this go. Don't let this fall by the wayside and get forgotten, because once if they see this and realize, oh, this is fine and people aren't going to do anything about it, it's just going to get worse. They're going to be like, oh, how many more people can we shoot,
Well, Sarah,
and get away with it.
I'm gonna say this, Sarah. I'm gonna say this, that, and the thing is that to this day, I still call myself a democratic socialist. In my theory of America, the taxes that we pay, we should be getting a whole lot more than what we're getting. Okay, but I'm gonna say this, and I didn't want to go this way, but on the strength of what you said, don't let this go. There's a fracture right now, and that is simply that the Democratic Party has always leaned on minorities. Every 4 years, they'll go to the community and they're like, hey, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. We need you. And for years, this Democratic Party has leaned on that. And this time around, with him saying he was going to do this, he gained more Black and Latino votes. So when you're saying don't let this go by, trust me, there's still a group of people, there's still a core that's intact, but it's splintering. Now, when ICE came in and did what Trump said he was going to do, all of these people thought that it was going to happen to somebody else. Oh, I thought you were going to get the bad ones. And now people are finally waking up, and that's fine. But if we have a political party that that is acting feckless, what I see, because here it is, this is the only way that this type of shit happens, and it's been proven in history. Freeing yourself from the oppressor is always going to include violence. Right now, everybody is living under a pressure cooker. What do you do with that? How do you release that pressure? You go after whatever is standing on your neck. Unfortunately, George Floyd couldn't do that. Otherwise, he would be here. And there's a political party that reduced him. Oh, he was a fentanyl user. Okay, that's fine. But if he shouldn't have died for his drug use. There was no reason for that. And to say not to let this go, it's just become a norm. And now people are finally waking up. Sarah, this gray hair tells me that, tells you that I've been through something. I remember when Columbine hit. I was working at a bar, and I heard it because I was getting ready and I wasn't paying attention. We'd never had that. We've never had anything like that. And so, I kept hearing it, but I had to go to work. Finally get to work and the TVs are on. And I looked and I'm like, oh, are those, were those kids that survived? And somebody like, no, girl, those were the ones that did it. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. No, the school got shot up because the idea that two babies could cross a bridge in their mind and plan this shit was foreign to me. And I remember behind that bar, I'm watching that, and all I could think of was what was going on. What happened? And I had to leave the bar, and I had to I had to go to the bathroom. The idea that those minds were so young that that could actually happen. I something broke inside of me. And I just knew at that moment, I knew that this nation would have done something. I knew this nation would have done something. And then when Sandy Hook happened and all of them babies got killed, there is nothing that could have proven to me that this nation gave a shit about anybody, including their children. I'm not saying all of this to bury you under doom and gloom. I'm saying that this is the reality that I see. Renee may be that turning point because she wasn't an illegal alien. She wasn't a national terrorist. She was a mother. She was just coming home from dropping her baby off. That was it. And now we've got the White House defending this shit. That shouldn't scare you. That should motivate you, because the time to be scared, we don't have that luxury no more. We don't have that luxury no more. That should motivate you. Do what you can, and when the time comes around, your vote matters. Your vote matters. That's it. That's all. I wish I could give you more, baby. I wish I could give you more, because I feel you, sweetheart. I know you are in a tender state right now. Here it is, though, darling. On a day-to-day basis, do what you can. Just show kindness. We're not putting our head in the sand. We're not going to avoid shit so that we could feel better, because that's not progress. That's just avoidance. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. And everybody up in this chat, we got smart people up in here, including you, darling. You'll know what to do with that. You will know what to do with that. Okay, baby? All right, sweetheart.
But
I love you, baby. Have a good night, love.
good night.
Baby. Lady Autumn, thank you for holding.
Yes, ma'am. Where do I begin?
Take your time. Take your time.
We're gonna first. I want to first start with the person who left you. I don't know if it's a gentleman or a woman that left the comment. All those are cowards. That make statements like that. It's a whole bunch of them that hide behind the nasty messages and things like that. And I just want to call that person out. Like, you're a fucking coward. Like,
Yeah, well,
period.
baby, I dropped the link. I dropped the link.
Well, we know
And
they're
they-
not going to come through. They never come through.
Right.
They hide behind,
keyboard.
hide behind the keyboards and shit. But it's okay. I want to tell you, it's a lady that I follow, and she actually pulled this up. A lady of color, and this is what blew me. She said that it was Renee's fault. She's a YouTuber or a blogger, whatever you want to call it. And actually, I really was liking the sister's content. And when I listened to it today, of course I disliked it. And she's like, I know y'all gonna drag me, but it was her fault. She swerved and tried to hit the officer, and you don't do that. And I'm like, bitch, what? I'm like, what in the like? Where have we come to? Like, what the hell is going on for real? For real? Like, I looked at that video over and over and over again, not to justify her foolishness, but I'm like, she was killed. That woman was killed unnecessarily. She was trying to get away from them. She wasn't trying to hit them. Like, what are you saying? Like, and this is, and people are following these people like this. Of course, I'm not following no more, but I'm like, are you serious, sister? Are you serious? Like, this is what this world have come to. We have it's no empathy in the world. Period. Our young people they don't even respect the elders in their home, more or less the elders on the street. You
Now,
know, these
oh, that's
young people, period, are so ignorant and nasty to each other for no reason. For no reason. And I'm like, God, that's all I could do is just call on God. Like, God, just give me peace, just protect me, shield me from the negativity, blah, 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 blah. Because it's like, I don't even go outside. And it's horrible. And I'm like, I gotta go to the store, and it's like, can you take me to the store? And it's like, I feel like I'm in a bubble. I'm gonna run to the store. I gotta write my little list down, like a little old lady, run through the aisles and jump back in the car and run back in the house, pull all my shades closed. I never lived like that ever in my life. But this is what we have come to now.
now
We're
I want
living in fear. These people killing us for no reason. That is sad. I cried for that baby today.
now I'm gonna show you something, baby. I'm gonna show you something. And when you say, where do we come to? This did not happen in a bubble. All right. While you was talking, I was trying to pull something up. This right here. This is a court document. This is a court doc. I cannot shrink this. I'm sorry, y'all. My computer skills are not that good. This is a court document of how Trump and his father were sued by the state of New York, the city of New York, for discrimination. He would not rent to Black or brown people in their properties. They were sued. And here it is. You can look it up. You can look it up. Why wasn't that brought up? Why wasn't that brought up in his first election? How was he able to get a hold of the culture? How were Black and brown people so enamored with him?
He's a great performer. He's a great performer, and the brown and Black people, they just fell for the rhetoric and the lies, and that, he's a good performer. He's a good actor.
And but here it is, though, darling, is that an actor needs a stage.
Yes.
And an actor needs a stage. And a platform can only have focus with people around it. So that document that I showed you, that's on the internet now. That's on the internet now. So if I could pull it up, the Democratic Party could have pulled it up. News agencies could have pulled it up. Everybody could have pulled it up. But no one did. There's more to this shit. As long as we keep each other fighting, they get to do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Absolutely.
And just like I told Lady Sarah, we do not have the luxury of fear right now. We don't have the luxury of fear. We don't have that. We've got the knowledge. We got to do what we need to do. And we got to get leaders in there that are fighting. Baby, I don't know what the Democratic Party is doing. I just don't know. I don't know. Again,
they fire. It seemed like they done lost their fire. They have no more fire, no more nothing. It's just they just there. They just props at this point. Like they look like they gave up. Like, fuck it. It is what it is, and I can't fight no more.
Lady Sarah, she put this in. She just put, I had a woman in an old folks home that I used to work in. She was a Holocaust survivor. When Trump first ran, she got so upset, saying that this is how it started when she was a child. Yet now, because he's cozying up to Israel, Jewish people who were meant to be extinct, and what I mean by that, Hitler and his regime wanted to make these people extinct. They are now doing the same shit to the people in Gaza. When that trauma is not addressed, when that trauma is not healed, you will go on and you will spread that trauma to somebody lesser than you. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot. But here it is. This moment right here, this is not a moment to challenge your sense of empathy. You still intact, baby. You could cry for a woman that you never met. I'm gonna be honest with you. Today was one of my very rare days off, and with the things that I'm going through personally, I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna do my little basic content and stuff like that, and I had that situation. Go on, and I'm trying to figure how I can get this individual. Number one, how I can get the medication. Number two, how do I get them to take it? And I'm ripping and running. And then outside, it's 45 degrees in Chicago on January the 8th. And it's raining. And it's just like the world is crying right now.
Yes.
It's like the world, it's crying right now. And I'm just trying to wrap my mind around, what do I do with this energy? What do I do with this energy? How do I transform this for a purposeful good? And me coming on here, this was what I got. This is what I had. And I'm hoping that people walk away from this live not disillusioned, but more informed. It's ugly. Everything that I put down, it's all ugly. But the thing is, though, is that it can change, and we can change it.
Yes, we can.
We can change it, So, Renee, wherever Renee is at, God is there. But baby, that baby, I'm doing everything I can to hold that baby in prayer, to hold that baby, in a space where at one point it will make sense why his mama and daddy are not here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that was that. But you good, baby? You all right?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, baby. I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you for always coming through, honey. Thank you for
Yes,
always
baby.
coming through, baby.
All
All
right,
right.
I'm dropping down.
Blessed. Thank
All
you,
right.
love. Stay blessed. All right, y'all. Listen, I haven't done this in a minute. But I want to hold a little space for Renee and for ourselves too. So if you indulge me, I want to do a little prayer. Please close your eyes, get in your body. Take a breath and get in there. And here we go. Divine wisdom, divine intelligence. We hold Renee and all lives lost to violence and cruelty. Awaken our hearts and guide our choices. Open our eyes to what must be seen. Protect the vulnerable. Strengthen our clarity. Let this moment move us, not in fear, but in conscious action. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Yes, Rabbit, we have to keep talking about this. Even if it's late and a long time coming, even if it's only getting attention because she's white, we have to keep bringing her up and not let them hide this. Yep. Yep. We can divide everything else, but if Renee was the door that opens us up so that we can change, so be it. We can heal all the other differences, but we have to make this count. And Jonathan Ross, may something more divine than me forgive you. I'm still a work in progress. May you never get a moment's peace until Renee is brought to justice. That was not very divine of me, but that was very real of me. All right, y'all. I'm gonna be back on the content train tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Tomorrow is Friday. And with all that being said, y'all, thank you all so much. Thank our moderators, Miss Yvette, Miss Martha, and Miss Rabbit. They were all here. Autumn, Mr. Stevens, Sal, Kiki, thank you for stopping by. That's it. That's all. Everybody, y'all know what to do. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that jazz. And y'all, give yourselves that moment. Give yourselves that moment. Thank you, love. All right, angels. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good night. And we're going to hold Renee and her baby in prayer. All right. Good night, baby. Thank you all for joining.